When a window on the 6th floor exploded, the crowd across the street gasped and backed away. A fire truck in front of the building had a ladder extended to the roof, and the man climbing it paused at the sound of the blast, before continuing up quickly. On the ground, residents of the building rushed out to the entrance in pajamas and robes or shorts and t-shirts, some wrapped in bedsheets. They ran, bent low, hands over their heads, ash and glass and small debris falling around them. Police tape stretched from a lamppost on the corner to a green sanitation garbage pail dragged to the middle of the street, and cops waved the residents behind it to join a crowd of passerby who'd stopped to watch. Those from the building huddled together at the front of the crowd and looked on in awe, wringing their hands or rubbing the backs of their arms. From where they stood, every visible window on the top floor was in flames. The building was only 6 stories high, and the heat from the fire could be felt at street level. More fire trucks arrived. Firefighters poured from them, looked up quickly, then hurried to the building. A long hose made up of smaller ones connected together snaked its way from the side of a fire truck to the street, onto the sidewalk, then disappeared inside. More residents ran out, dodging the firefighters and hopping the hose to join their neighbors across the street. On the top floor, black smoke began to seep from behind the fire in one of the windows. A thin, shifting cloud silhouetted against the night sky. The flames from that window flickered stubbornly, pulsed, then finally disappeared altogether. Water splashed out in spurts, raining down on the street below, and the crowd cheered. The smoke from a second window turned black, and the fire in that window went out too. A firefighter appeared in the first window, using a tool to knock shards of glass and charred wood away. The people on the street applauded at the sight of him, and the cheers grew louder. The fire truck in front of the building had another man climbing the ladder now, obscured occasionally by the new smoke coming out from the windows. Those in the crowd with children crouched to the kid's height and pointed him out. Then, 2 paramedics pulling a stretcher ran past the crowd to the building. From the entrance, 2 firefighters, one walking backward, came out carrying someone underneath the arms and knees. Either by chance or discretion, it was difficult to see the person being carried, but the firefighters weren't struggling, which gave some in the crowd the impression that whoever it was didn't weigh much. Someone small. The 2 paramedics paired up with the 2 firefighters and got whoever it was onto the stretcher. One of the medics started pushing on the person's chest, while the other held an oxygen mask over their face, and together they rolled the stretcher to the back of an open ambulance. The 2 firefighters went back inside. At the front of the crowd, furtive looks were exchanged, and for a long moment, no one spoke. Then some obvious questions were asked, and an unofficial and unorganized census began. Next-door neighbors looked for each other and made sure kids and elderly family members were out of the building and accounted for. Friends looked for friends who didn't live on the same floor, but lived in the building. Nearly everyone looked for the young girl with autism who lived on the 5th floor. She lived with her single mom, and everyone was relieved to find them both near the back of the crowd, on a bench. Then the search narrowed. Each floor above the first had 4 apartments, and everyone seemed generally confident that those who lived below the top floor had made it out safely. But what about the 4 families on 6?